With the activity network, let's see how to calculate the for-time attribute for each activity. We always begin at the starting activity and work forward to calculate the earliest start time and earliest finish time. So for this activity A, the early start time will be 0, the same as the start time. And to calculate the earliest finish time, we use the formula earliest finish time equal to earliest start time plus the activity time. So the earliest start time of activity A is 0, and the time duration of the activity is 2. So the earliest finish time of activity A will be 2. Similarly, to calculate the earliest start time and earliest finishing time of activity B, we use earliest finishing time of B equal to earliest start time of B, which is 0, plus the activity time of B, which is 3. So the earliest finishing time of B is 3. So we can use the same way to calculate each activity in the activity network. So for activity C, we take the earliest finishing time of A as the earliest start time of C, because A is the immediate pre-activity of C, and C is the immediate following activity of A. So in the graph, A is the input node of C, and C is the output node of A. So what if an activity have multiple pre-activities, or a node have more than one input activity node? So in these slides, activity D has two pre-activities, activity A and activity B. And the node D has two input nodes, node A and node B are all input nodes of node D. So to calculate the earliest start time of activity D, we need to compare the two earliest finishing time of their pre-activities. So pre-activity A has the earliest finishing time of 2, and the activity B has the earliest finishing time of 3. So we will take the maximum of 2 and 3 as the early start time of D, which early start time of D will be 3. For example, your wedding activity need to wait for 2 important people's arrival. Assuming A, the arrival time is 2 p.m. and B, the arrival time is 3 p.m. So the early start time of the wedding can only start at 3 p.m. because you need to wait for the 2 most important people's arrival. To calculate the latest finishing time and the latest start time of an activity, we will begin with the final activity and work backward. So the latest start time rule is you need to use the latest start time of an activity equal to latest finishing time minus activity time. Let's look at the activity diagram. Activity H is the final activity of this project. And for the latest start time and the latest finishing time, we are calculating backward from the final activity H. First, we will assign the latest finishing time of activity H equal to the earliest finishing time of activity H, okay, because H is the final activity. To calculate the latest start time of activity H, we use latest finishing time, which is 15, minus the time duration. So the latest start time of activity H will be 13. Following H, we will continue work backward for each activity. Similar to the scenario when we work on the early start time and early finish time, sometimes you may encounter one activity have more than one following activities, assuming activity C has two following activities, activity F and activity E. So each of them have a different latest start time. So to calculate the latest finishing time of C, we need to compare the latest start time of F and the latest start time of E. So in this case, we need to take the minimum of the latest start time of all the immediate following activities of C. So which the latest finishing time of activity C is 4.